This is John. I worked on a YouTube video for a solid week, and YouTube just destroyed it. So I want to try to keep this a new one. I want to do under 15 minutes. Start it now.
In this presentation, we will talk about the coming 5G technology, which is the nail in the coffin of this entire AI agenda. This isn't just about physically saving ourselves from health problems, brain damage, death, DNA mutation. It's about preserving the very essence which makes us human. Our wireless devices currently utilize a 4G network. The 5G network is set to be installed in the next few years. The first commercial deployment will be somewhere around 2020, with rollout beginning at the end of 2018 in various cities around the world. 5G is not merely an upgrade of wireless infrastructure. It is the final leap towards the installment of a total technological control grid. The agenda is to cover the entire Earth, including rural areas, with the 5G electromagnetic blanket so that its effects can literally not be escaped. These are millimeter waves, literal military technology. None of this has been fully tested, and every living thing which has been subjected to it in the lab has either perished or had severe injury at a cellular level. Even without these 5G towers, we are already swimming in a muck of electromagnetic radiation, which has been increasing cancer rates, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, chronic fatigue, Lyme disease, asthma, heart problems, chest pain, forgetfulness, digestive disorders, brain tumors, lupus, arthritis, skin conditions. Our immune systems are shot because we are swimming in this sea of radiation. And 5G is taking this radiation and increasing by over 30-fold. So we're not dealing with just an arbitrary technology which is being released for our convenience. This is a literal weapon being imposed onto the public.
The technology that's coming is going to be broadcasting at 60 gigahertz. That is the absorption spectrum of oxygen molecules. There are instances where 60 gigahertz systems have been deployed in the United States, and it is a weaponized system. What happens at the molecular level when you have oxygen molecules being hit with radio frequency emissions at 60 gigahertz, which you think is fine, and you don't understand what this stuff does, and I'm glad you're going to be recusing yourself from all the votes, is it affects the orbital properties of the electrons and the hemoglobin's ability to bind the oxygen molecules. A very short amount of time without air, and it's lights out meatball for all metabolic processes in a human body and all other life forms as we know them.
5G will be able to penetrate everything in its path, all material objects and even water and oxygen molecules. All are subject to tampering with because of these frequencies. 5G will be working with microchip technology that has already been stored within our food, our credit cards, televisions. The groundwork has already been laid out in this electromagnetic grid for everything to receive the 5G signals. And the intention is to cover all parts of the world so nothing can escape this death grid. So we really need to buckle down and realize what we're dealing with. 5G is not one system. It's a multitude of AI alien technologies designed to work together. Chemtrails are loaded with nanotechnology, microscopic sentient fibers which bind to our neural system, making us susceptible to psychotronic weaponry and mind control as we become both receivers and transmitters, allowing behavior-modifying signals to be sent and received directly by us from the electromagnetic grid. Chemtrails also contain a multitude of heavy metals, aluminum, barium, and thorium, just to name a few. What happens when these particles rain down year after year on our environment? Our surroundings become coated with an invisible but pervasive skin of positively charged metals, and we become conductive. Yes, the heavy metals get lodged in our bones, tissues, and organs. Thus, we all become receptors for the signals coming from Gwen Towers, microwave radiation, and hidden underground technology. These signals are able to not just mutate our DNA, messing with our mitochondria's ability to...
Going, man, what am I to look forward to at the end? I'm going to bring an illustration that, this is like the first illustration I did. It was 20 years ago, but I can't think of a better way to explain it. I actually didn't use a rope back then. I used remember computer paper when it was all stuck together? And it had the holes on the side that you had to peel off. Remember that? I remember getting a roll, and some of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, which is crazy to me.
It's a good illustration shows on this.
That was the best, you know. And it never worked right because of the rolling things. But I remember being a youth pastor, and I put that computer paper all the way around the room, and but I'm going to use a rope now.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep it below 15 minutes, guys, so I'm trying to keep it going.
Imagine this rope.
This is on a totally different subject.
This rope just goes on
about
forever.
life, basically.
Okay? Just
how people live their life, and they should be living it the right way.
Ends at the rock.
They're searching for things in the world, and
they're
living it for this little life instead of for the whole life,
now imagine that
eternal
this
life.
Rope
They're living it for this little short life that we live on earth.
Of your existence. You just exist forever. You see this red part? This would represent your time on earth. You've got a few short years here on earth, and then you've got all of eternity somewhere else.
That's what most people live their life for, is that little short part. They should be living it for the...
Some of you, all you think about is this red part.
They should be living it for the eternal part, for Jesus, for the Lord.
You go, oh man, I can't wait till here. You know, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to save so I can really enjoy this part right here. And you're consumed with that, and you're thinking, oh man, am I going to get to travel? Am I going to eat well? Am I going to do this during this part? And I'm like, are you kidding me? What about this? What about this? What about all this stuff? It's crazy to me because the Bible teaches that what I do during this little red part determines how I'm going to exist for millions and millions and millions of years forever. And so why would I spend this little red part trying to make myself as comfortable as possible, enjoying myself as much as I can? Paul says, look, I'm going to live my life for this mission. I'm going to spend my life, invest my life for this moment when I cross that finish line. See, I'm going to forget about all this stuff I could enjoy, and I'm not going to look around. I'm going to be like a runner just looking at that moment when I face God, because when I face Him, then I don't get this chance over again. We get one chance at this life on earth, and it can end at any second for any of us. We've got one chance at this, and then comes eternity. And I'm not going to be fooled. I'm not going to spend my life down here. See, people look at some of my decisions and go, oh, you're so stupid because that's going to really affect this. I go, no, you're stupid because it's going to affect all of this. Man, I'm serious. I look at the way people live and I go, wow, that is so crazy. You are so crazy. You're going to do that right now, just to enjoy right now, not even knowing if you have tomorrow, and you think that's smart and that I'm dumb. It doesn't make any sense. Paul goes, I'm not going to look around at all this stuff. And it's tempting. It's tempting to all of us. That's what I'm saying. Down here, it's crazy because everyone lives that way. Everyone lives for the red part. No one's thinking about the millions of years afterwards. It's just this crazy deception that we can't get out of our minds. And Paul goes, I'm not doing that. He goes, I keep my eyes on that. I keep my eyes on that finish line. And I'm going to forget what's behind me. I'm not looking around. I'm straining. He goes, I'm straining forward. I'm like stretching forward for that mark. I'm going to pass this thing. I'm going to live this out. And I'm going to face Him. I'm going to come before the judges and He's going to hand me that trophy. He goes, I'm going to get it. And I haven't gotten there yet. He goes, but you better believe I'm using every muscle, exerting every bit about me because I'm going to pass that line well.
All right, now watch this one. That's about an earthquake they predicted. Now watch it.
And today
Pay
I'd like
attention
to
to it.
bring to you another one of my articles. This one's entitled Magnitude 9 Earthquake Predicted to Affect U.S. Coast by March 19th, 2019.
That's
Now,
not long.
it has
Just a few
been
days.
reported, it was reported on March 5th, 2019, that a Russian scientist had predicted a massive earthquake and tsunami which would affect the U.S. within the next 2 weeks. A period of time which expires on March 19th, 2019. The report states that subtle frequencies in the Earth's upper atmosphere were used to predict the earthquakes. However, since I understand that the earthquakes are caused by planet X system stellar cores, the cores of energy-depleted planets, moons, and stars, which have broken up and are now the core of the original celestial objects surrounded by a huge debris field, and that in fact earthquakes and volcanic eruptions have the same cause. In other words, they are due to plasma ejections by the Earth's core, and you may look at Article 501 entitled Planet X-Induced Volcanic Eruptions, or like an Earth CME. I also understand that it cannot be any subtle frequencies in the Earth's atmosphere that will allow them to know when an earthquake will strike. And here you can see some of these objects, Planet X system stellar cores. And these are larger or about the same size as the Sun, and they induce CMEs, or coronal mass ejections from the Sun, which are plasma ejections from the Sun's core. And you can see it going out towards the object there. You can see the CME material going out towards the object there, and you can see it going out towards this huge object, which turned out to be 7 times larger than the Sun there. So they provoke these plasma ejections, or coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, from the Sun. And on the Earth, they induce the same thing. But on Earth, they give rise to volcanic eruptions or earthquakes. Now, it is possible that they are tracking a particular stellar core and know that it is going to arrive during a particular time period. However, it would be impossible to predict exactly where the object would go, and even if it was possible to know where it would go, it is still impossible to predict exactly how strong the reaction from the Earth's core would be, or how the ocean floor would react to it. And it would thus be just about impossible to predict a tsunami, and even less possible to predict how high that tsunami would be. In addition, even if using subtle frequencies in the atmosphere, as he claims, were used, you would have to have a lot of data on 9 magnitude earthquakes and 30-meter tsunamis in order to be able to model and predict another such event. And as far as I know, there have been very few really large earthquakes and tsunamis to make such modeling accurate enough to predict the height of a tsunami, or even if one would be produced. So that leaves one last option. The only way they could possibly know when and how high a tsunami is if they are planning to artificially create one by detonating a nuclear device on the ocean floor, which is designed to register an earthquake on seismographs and to create a tsunami of a particular height. Now, the Japanese earthquake of March 11th, 2011 was a magnitude 9 earthquake, which generated an over 30-meter or 100 feet high tsunami. It is therefore likely that the Japanese earthquake was produced by the very same type of weapon that this Russian scientist is referring to. The period of time predicted for this event to occur ends on March 19th, 2019, where the number for the day and the year coincide, just like they did for the Japanese earthquake of March 11, 2011, i.e. 19 and 19 versus 11 and 11, which would indicate who would be behind both events, this world's father of lies government. And here's the aftermath of the Japanese earthquake of March 11th, 2011. So in conclusion, it appears that the Russian scientists' report is actually a warning that a nuclear device is about to be detonated at one or both of the U.S. coastlines within the next few days, or by March 19th, 2019.
See what you're saying?
And these are the references.
Let's go, guys. Love y'all. See you on the next video.